Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at the DS-X Changer from Lupinranger vs Patranger. This is the primary henshin transformation device of Lupin X/Patron X. He's kind of the newest Ranger on the show, and he does have a version for both teams. So he has the silver version, Lupin X, and then he also has the gold version of Patron X. So this is kind of his mecha/henshin device all rolled into one, continuing the gimmick of Lupinranger vs Patranger this year, where the mecha is also your kind of roleplay henshin device. So you have these two trains, one for each form, that kind of connect together to form this giant henshin device gun thing going on here, which he uses to change into the two different forms. But of course, because it's his mecha, it's also used for his giant robot combination. So taking a look at the bottom, not too much going on here. Two LR44 watch batteries are included, so you don't need to provide batteries for this thing, which is nice. Here is the gold version, Patron X, and then here is the kind of gold version of his mecha, which is X-Emperor Gunner, because he has this giant gun on the front. And then on this side you have the silver version, Lupin X, and then he has the kind of silver configuration for his mecha, which is called X-Emperor Slash. Changing around to the back, you can see the two trains here. Now, to make these two robots, you're going to need fire. I'm sorry, this one's fire and this one's thunder. So I think they're just called X-Train Fire and X-Train Thunder. And those are also needed to make these two combinations. I'm going to do them in a separate video, and then I'm going to do a third video for this, and then this giant thing down here, which is called Good Cool Kaiser VSX, which has got to be one of the most peculiar names for a Sentai mecha that I've seen in quite some time. But you can do the two different versions of X Megazord, for lack of a better term, giant robot, and then you can have him combined with all the other previous mecha we've had so far. So pretty cool. Not the support vehicles, but the main 6 and good strikers. So I will be reviewing the Changer in this video, then I'll do a second video for Thunder and Fire, and then I will do a third video for all the combinations. So taking a look at the back here, you can see the two different versions of the Changer, which we'll get into. And then it just shows how they combine down here. And then up here you have kind of a cool picture of both of them. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the packaging. Whoops, as I knock stuff over. Let's go ahead and get everything out of the box and we'll take a closer look. So here are the two trains out of the packaging. Here is the silver train. I really like the orange and the blue here in the front. I think it looks really good with the silver. I think the color scheme really works well. There is a dial up here because technically this is a dial fighter, even though it's a train, but this does not work at all. So nothing to be moved or turned around there. Now you can see there is a piece down here which you can put into the VS Changer. I believe this disconnects right there. So you can take this part off and put it on, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later. But you can see there's some wheels, which is very nice. Pop that back on. Some more wheels back here. Rolls pretty well. And you can see there's lots of joints, obviously, all around, which are going to come into play for the large robot combination, which we will check out in the later video. But so that is your silver train. Here is your gold train with a giant gaping hole in the back, and that's because this train drives through it as part of the combination. But on the show, they have like almost like a garage door type of thing that is down and then rolls up when it needs to. I understand the toy couldn't have, there's nowhere for it to hide when you roll it in. But even if they just gave you kind of a piece that you could plug in and then you just take off and keep separate. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but something like that would have been nice. Otherwise, here's your gold train. You can see they're kind of trying to simulate like a steam locomotive kind of thing going on over here. But this is a large piece. This actually comes off for the transformation later as well, which we'll see. And then you can take this whole piece off as well. Put that off to the side. And then we can take a look at that in the gun, which we'll do a little bit later. In the VS Changer. Oops. So there you go. And then this is kind of the main electronic piece, which is used for the sounds and things, because here's the trigger. So if it's in this mode, you get some cool train sounds. Basically, it's one train sound for the kind of steam locomotive, which you just heard, and then this next sound is more for the bullet train. So, kind of cool. So that's pretty much it for the two trains. There's not a ton more to look at. I guess I didn't show you the wheels on the bottom of this guy, but they're in pretty much all the exact same places as the other train. So that's pretty much it for the two trains. They roll nice, they look good, but we can combine them together to form the X-Changer. So the first thing we're going to do is rotate this section 180 degrees. Then you're going to rotate this section 180 degrees. Then you're going to take this and rotate this 90 degrees like that. Then you're going to bring in your silver train, rotate this 90 degrees on the back. That's going to plug in right here, and then this one is going to plug in right here. And there you go. Then you're going to press this button here and rotate this to a 45-degree angle. And there you have the X-Changer. It's very large, very hefty. Pretty easily assembled. But if you press the button, so you just kind of get that generic kind of firing sound. So nothing too exciting there. Now what you can do, you will rotate this whole section around. Then you'll rotate it around again. So it says Kaito X change means it's changing into Lupin X. Press the trigger. So now you're transformed into Lupin X. So you get that same kind of attack sound. Now if you want to change into Patranger X from Lupin X, you just change this around one time. So now you're Patranger X. And that's kind of your default firing sound. Now you can just keep changing back and forth from Patranger X to Lupin X with just one change over and over again. Only the first time you change do you have to spin it around twice. Now if you wanted to do the full pomp and circumstance transformation with Patranger X, I usually put it back to kind of reset it. Okay, so now you're starting with gold in the front. So you're going to turn it around. And now do it again. So there you go, now you're Patranger X, having done the full-on transformation. So only the first time you change does it make you do the spin twice. Now you can just change back and forth with just one rotation and then hitting the trigger. If you want to call the mecha, you have to turn it around twice in quick succession. So that calls the two trains. Unfortunately, in like the train mode, there's no way to connect the two trains together. I think on the show they do kind of show them connected together, but there's no way to connect them. Now you could take this apart, like I showed you earlier, and then I think you could connect it on the back, but it wouldn't be the full both trains. So, but yeah, that's really it for sounds. Oh, I'm wrong. I forgot about these. So then if you hit the trigger after you summon the train with the gold out front, you hear him say, "Got time, X-Emperor Gunner," because that's the gold version. So now if I change back... So now I have to call the mecha again from the silver. So then you get X-Emperor Slash, which is the silver configuration of X-Emperor. And then you just kind of go back to that sound. Now, if you wish to kind of put it back to that, you're going to get that generic sound again. The train sound. So I think it's kind of neat. It's definitely hefty. It definitely has a weight to it, and I'm hoping that the constant switching around doesn't eventually break the thing, but it seems pretty sturdy, so I think it should be okay in that regard. Alright, so now we'll check these out with the VS Changer. We'll start with the silver one. It almost kind of sounds like it says New Cho Ranger, meaning Super Ranger, but I'm not 100% on that. So you can see that doing it a second time doesn't call the mecha like it normally does. It just does the same sound again. Let's go ahead and pop this guy on. Same music. So you can hear that it's the exact same sounds. So the sounds of the VS Changer are not too exciting. Both of them make the same sound, and they're not any different as far as summoning the mecha. They don't have any summoning the mecha sound. If we take a look at the bottom, we can see that they are the exact same rail system. So that's why you are getting the same sound with both. So that's kind of a bummer, but I guess it makes sense because they're not really meant to be used with this. It's nice that they even have the functionality because they are in themselves their own changer. So there's really no reason that it would have to have functionality with the VS changer, but they threw something in. And it just kind of says like new Cho Ranger, so new Super Ranger. And it doesn't have a mecha summoning sound. It's just the one change sound. So it's all right, but nothing too exciting. But again, doesn't even really need to exist. So as a changer, I think this thing is really fun. Obviously, there's a lot more functionality we haven't taken a look at yet as far as the mecha combinations, but I promise I will get to that after I review Thunder and Fire separately. But yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had here. I think as a changer, there's lots of great sounds in this thing. Both the individual train forms are decent. I don't think they're amazing. I think silver works a little bit better than gold just because gold has that big hole in the back. I understand it's necessary for the functionality, but even if it was just some kind of piece of plastic that you could just kind of push in just to kind of fill the space, like a cover on the side, and then you could pop that cover right off when you need to, would have been nice. I get why it didn't happen, but it would have been nice. Yeah, like I said, there's still a ton of functionality still to unlock, which we'll take a look at very soon. But just going on the fact of this toy by itself as a changer, I think it's definitely fun. There's lots of fun sounds here. The functionality of changing back and forth is a lot of fun. You have the Gatai sounds for both versions, which is going to be a lot of fun. We'll take a look at that again later when we get to the combination. And yeah, like I said, so far really fun. But of course, we'll unlock more of the functionality next time. So please tune in later for that one later this week. Should be Friday. I'm hoping to do Thunder and Fire tomorrow, and then we'll do all the combinations on Friday. So let me know what you guys think in the comments so far. Let me know what you think. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.